Hi everyone, and welcome to Art in the Park 2022. Today we have ArtSpark staff members Eric and Silva sharing their experiences on how nature improves their creativity. Today we will learn about Eric's passion for birdwatching, and Silva will share her stories about growing up in Finland.
So my name is Eric Lau, and I am one of the media and communications specialists on staff here at ArtSpark Texas. I'm really super interested in birds and in going out on walks in nature. I'm interested in all aspects of nature, but especially into birds. And I got into birds during the pandemic when I was stuck at home, like so many others, and I would just spend a ton of time looking out the window and just watching the birds that would visit our backyard. And then, 2 years went by and I have started going on group bird walks. I've been involved with Travis Audubon and birdability. I even got a modified spotting scope so I can get eyes on birds that are further away. So that's my interesting hobby.
So how does birdwatching spark your creativity?
It might have something to do with the songs and the calls that birds make. Having an interest in music, I think I'm kind of especially attuned to hearing interesting sounds, and birds make a wide array of songs and calls that I just find endlessly entertaining. Another thing I think, maybe this has something to do with my disability, having muscular dystrophy and using a wheelchair, is I'm very observational in nature. So I just like to pay attention to things, and it seems something that I'm good at, identifying a little shape shifting in the trees or in a bush or something like that, or just hearing the little sounds that birds make and then realizing that there's some interesting creature to be found. As someone who uses a power wheelchair, I do have to be prudent about what trails and parks I decide to go to, because of course not every place is accessible where you can look at birds. And so I basically look for parks that have van accessible parking. I look for parks that have paved trails that are wide enough for my wheelchair. I look for things that aren't too hilly, as that can kind of wear me out. One of the cool things though about birds is that they are everywhere, and so even if I just park at a parking lot and wander a trail down 100 feet or so, I can just sit there and the birds will just fly overhead. They'll sing from nearby trees, and I can just be in one place and just enjoy all the birds around. Why am I so into bird watching? It's because I lose my sense of myself when I'm birding, and I lose sense of time, and I lose sense of the elements, and all the worries that I ever have just go out the window, and I'm just totally present in what I'm doing. It's just me and the birds in front of me, and the beauty of nature around me, and there's few things in life where you can feel that totally being present in the moment, and it's just unlike anything I've really experienced.
Now let's hear from Silva on growing up in Finland.
Hi, my name is Silva Laukkanen, and I am the Director of Integrated Dance at ArtSpark Texas. And if you wonder about this accent, that it doesn't sound very Texan, you're right. So I was born and raised in Finland in a farm, and I ran barefoot every summer at all times, everywhere. And my house is basically in the middle of a forest, so everywhere around me was forest and trees and nature. We are farmers, so there were fields of wheat and rye that we would collect and run, and when it was harvested we would actually go in the tractor and swim in seeds, and it was just a wonderful experience.
So, Silva, how often do children in Finland have recess?
And then when you go to school when you're 7, and your school day actually your lesson is 45 minutes, and then you have to go outside for 15 minutes. And we don't have things like, oh, it's too cold or it's snowy or it's raining. We went outside in every weather at all times. It wasn't even like a thing like, should we? It's very important that you go and play outside. So 45-minute lesson, 15-minute recess, 45-minute lesson, 15-minute recess. During the lunch, you get a 30-minute recess, and then you go back to your 45-minute lesson, 15-minute recess. So being outside, gathering from outside, like every fall you would go and look for blueberries, lingonberries in the forest. We have this thing called every man's right. So you can go to any forest and gather berries and mushrooms.
How did being out in nature shape you as an individual?
Having that kind of access, I think, for outside and being able to go there as a child, I think it still calms me. Being outside makes me feel really calm. And I think eating from the forest feels so healthy and right, and it makes you want to protect it. So I think I was always like an environmentalist. Like even as a child, I remember my parents wanted to cut some trees and I was like, no, we cannot cut any trees. So I think it made me like understand the value and want to protect nature.
What lessons have you created for Art in the Park 2022?
So these are 6 stories where the characters have disabilities, and then for each book, we read the book, we create a movement prompt, so we invite you to join us in this creating movement task based on the book. And they were just wonderful to create, and I think it brought actually my family, when creating them, much more together in this time of isolation and separation. So I hope you enjoy those and you do those in your classrooms and you do those with your families at home.
Thank you for joining us for Art in the Park 2022, and stay tuned as we take a trip through parks around the world.